Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and this is your full moon in Aquarius reading. It is a general collective reading, so as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it is meant for someone else to hear. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. And if you're not sure what those placements are, in the description box of this video is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. So for us, I say us, most of you know I am a Gemini Sun. For us, and I pulled our chart up here for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. So if you see me looking over, that's what I'm looking over at. So when I'm looking at this chart here for us in respect to the full moon in Aquarius, it looks like this is going to span our ninth house of belief systems, higher learning, and expansion. So this moon shakes up our worldview. And it's a time to release some of those limiting beliefs and dogmatic ways of thinking. So an old philosophy or perspective could be dying out for you at this time in order to make room for a radically open-minded future. So again, looking over at that chart, how could this play out for each of you? It's possible that some of you were raised or are of the belief, if I can get my words out, we're still in Mercury retrograde, until 3:57 p.m. on the 23rd, so I apologize. That's Eastern time anyway. It's possible for some of us that we chose a life partner based on family compatibility, social standing, our parents' blessing. You know, for others of us, that worldview could be about like choosing to live with parents or extended family, like under one multi-generational home. It could also be like accepting strict traditional gender roles where, you know, the husband views his primary duty as the provider and the protector, and the wife views her primary duty as like the homemaker or the nurturer. In respect to career and finance, this could be playing out for us like feeling forced or of the belief like we have to take over the family business. Like we can't do what we want to do. Like there's too much family interdependence. We got to share personal income with extended family pool. You know, you got to pay for the cousin's education type of thing, or your sibling's wedding. And then for others of us, this is like deferring to elders. So like yielding to the wisdom of parents or community elders when we're making major life decisions, and believing that like age and experience holds the absolute authority over those of us who are, you know, younger, over the youth. So you could be looking at all of those different things in your life and deciding, I really don't align with that anymore. And maybe you grew up thinking, you know, you got to grow up and get married and have a spouse and, you know, 2.5 kids and a dog in the driveway and chickens in the backyard. And this is the time that you're looking, you're like, maybe I don't want to get married, or maybe I don't want to have kids. Maybe everyone else in my family had kids. Maybe I don't want kids. Some of you were, once upon a time, if you're like divorced like I am, you may have been looking at like, well, I need a life partner. And I need to find someone that I want to have that second marriage with. And now this could be changing your worldview. Like, you know what? I'm good on my own. I can date who I want. Like maybe that time of being alone made some of us realize we don't really need a partner. We want a partner. We don't really need a partner. So worldviews are changing for the Gemini collective. So I rambled on there for a couple of minutes. I apologize. Let's get into the Urban Crow Oracle deck to see how this will play out for you. And then we'll dive deeper using tarot. So for the Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements, what is their full moon in Aquarius message as it pertains to their ninth house of worldview, higher learning, and expansion? Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. We have Territory, card number 49. At the bottom of the deck, we have card number 9, Communication, which would be us as we are ruled by the air suit in tarot. Territory. Crows are very territorial. They have distinct groups, and they will not hang out too long on a block that is not theirs. Territory indicates that someone may be entering your space uninvited, or that you may be the one who is the intruder. This card may also ask if you are protecting something out of concern that someone may be trying to step on your toes, or take over something that you cherish. When territory appears in a reading, you may need to consider what boundaries are in place, or if they are needed. Would the situation benefit from establishing some new ground rules? Territory may also appear if you need to carve out some space for yourself, whether that be within your own home or in the form of time just to be alone. You may need to define an area that is solely yours and yours alone. Interesting. Okay, tell me how this pertains here to the Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements, and their full moon in Aquarius message. Tell me more about this and their ninth house of belief systems for the Gemini collective. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Two of Pentacles. We have the Sun. And we have the Three of Wands. Bottom of the deck. Boom. Shakalaka boom. Tower. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that one. This is that, aha. Oh my God, I split the deck. We've got the Tower and we have the Fool. The Tower is Pluto, and Pluto is the modern day ruler of Scorpio, which is something needs to end so something new can begin. But lately, I've also been seeing it as Uranus, which is the modern day ruler of Aquarius. Former ruler was Saturn. And Uranus, however you choose to pronounce it, is the higher octave of Mercury, which is the ruling planet for Gemini. So this is either some aha communication you're having with someone that makes you realize, oh no, that doesn't really align to me anymore, or I don't align with it anymore, or I don't believe that anymore. Or it could be like a download that you get, some sudden epiphany. And then with that Fool card, it's like a new way of doing life. It's like the old is being dismantled. The old worldview is being dismantled. So for some of you, it's coming through a conversation you're having with someone. And for others of you, it's an internal conversation you're having that's giving you this epiphany. Two of Pentacles. Tell me about that Two of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Two of Pentacles is clarified by Seven of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. Well, we're done with that. Emperor at the bottom of the deck, whether you're masculine or feminine, that is you stepping into the role of the Emperor. So there's something here about like carrying water, doing everything in a balanced way, the way we were raised, the way we were told, some worldview here, and what that worldview is for each of you is completely different. You know, I could be speaking to a Gemini right now where your worldview of growing up was like, you know, the masculine in the household works and you stay home and, you know, you raise the kids or you take care of the household. And you might be looking around now going, no, I want to make my own income. You could be a Gemini who had the worldview of, oh, when I grow up, I have to buy a house. Everyone has a house. That's how you know that you're mature and you're grown up. And whether you have a house now or not, you might be like, maybe I just want a townhouse. Maybe I don't need 7 acres of lawn to, you know, cut the grass on every week. Maybe I want to be in an apartment. So whatever that worldview is here for you, I feel like we were raised with it. And we sort of have just been moseying along in life, trying to keep things balanced, like, because this is how I was told that the world works. So Seven of Pentacles, this is now pausing and going, wait a minute, that belief system, is that really mine? Or is that what someone else taught me? Is that what I learned from my elders? Was that just a culture of my family? And it's the Seven of Pentacles card for me is the juice worth the squeeze? So it's like, do I want to keep living the rest of my life with this belief or honoring this belief, honoring this tradition that no longer aligns to me? And the Ten of Swords says, no, I don't. And this could even be for some of you, depending on your culture, or maybe you were, you know, raised in a culture where your marital partner is selected by your family. And you might be rebelling against that right now or feeling a rebellious nature within. Like, no, I want to choose my own partner or maybe choose to not have a partner. But I don't want to just marry someone because we have land and they have goats or vice versa. And I'm not making fun of that. That's how my father married his first wife, not my mom, married his first wife. There was a land transaction there where she had the farm animals and he had the farm. And that's how their parents put them together. And I say first wife because that marriage did not work. So my dad had his own, you know, Saturn return that went, no, I can't do this. So whatever it is for you, as you're assessing it, you're realizing, I don't really need that. And it's funny, I was talking to my dad the other day. I can't believe this is coming up in this reading. This was before I did the chart for all 12 zodiac signs. So I did not know that the full moon in Aquarius was going to hit our 9th house. And my dad said, wouldn't it be nice to be married again one day? And I said, no. And he's like, but don't you love him? Don't you want to get married? And I'm like, I did. And my dad's like, what changed? Don't you love him? And I'm like, I do, but I don't think I need a husband. Like maybe we live together, maybe we have something non-traditional. And to my dad, who's 84 years old and was raised in Yugoslavia, he was just like, oh, like, oh my God, you know, like he just thought that was the worst thing ever. But I'm like, maybe we're just going to live together for the rest of our lives. And maybe I don't need that. And maybe the ring that I wear on my ring finger is that the vow is to me. Maybe it's not a marital ring. Maybe it's a me ring. That made my dad laugh. But whatever that old worldview here is that you are processing right now or contemplating, subconsciously or consciously, that energy of the full moon in Aquarius is going to make you realize, I don't want to live that way, or I don't want to continue living that way anymore. Ace of Wands, I have a brand new way of thinking, something that is unique to me and is not traditional. The Sun. This is also that moment of clarity, right? The Sun is next to the Ace of Swords, is the biggest clarity card for me in tarot. So it's like seeing it very clearly. And going back to that territory card, the line in here that I found really interesting was this part that says, let me try to find it here. Territory indicates that someone may be entering your space uninvited. It doesn't have to be a someone. It could be a belief system, a worldview. And we're allowing it to exist in our space, meaning our life. And at once upon a time, it was an invited belief. But now it's an uninvited belief. Now it is intrusive. Now it is an intruder. And now it's also like, I want to protect my territory moving forward. The Sun. And like live by my own rules, not someone else's. Live by my own belief systems, not someone else's. Clarify that Sun here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Sun is clarified by the star, Aquarian energy. There you go. 3 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the 8 of Cups. This is walking away from a conditioned mindset that, again, it doesn't mean that it's negative and it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that you're no longer aligned to it. And realizing that if you were to continue to operate within the construct of that worldview, you would be sabotaging your ability to be really happy. Because maybe saying I do to him isn't going to make me really happy. Maybe what makes me really happy is living non-traditionally, just as boyfriend and girlfriend. And maybe in the same household, maybe not in the same household. And I'm just using myself as an example. I'm certainly not making a reading about me. So there's something here about active work on realizing that, healing that aspect of ourselves and saying, I want to do it differently. Not because I'm bucking the system or, I hate my parents or I reject my culture. It's just that I realize that if I continue to exist that way, I'm actually blocking my own sun. 3 of Wands. This is now moving forward in a very opposite energy of us, like Sagittarius way, like looking at the bigger picture and now doing things for us, living in a way that resonates with us, because astrologically speaking, the 3 of Wands is actually Aries. It's the Sun in Aries, the Sun in Aries. Look at that, Ace of Wands to the Sun. So it's saying, I'm going to move forward now and exist in the world in a way that is ideal for me, not my parents, not my culture, not the religion that I am. And for some of you, it could even be a change of religion. Maybe you were a devout Christian or Catholic or Muslim or whatever your religion is, and suddenly now you're into tarot and esotericism. And so that worldview changes, because higher learning, as you learn more and you connect more on your spiritual side, you might decide, I don't want to go to church every Sunday. I'll go once a month, or I'll go once a quarter, or I'll only go on holidays. You might find a nice bridge between your religious beliefs and your spirituality. That's what I was able to do with Christianity. I didn't abandon one for the other. I just made them both work. So again, it could just even be something like that. It doesn't have to be, marriage or career or, traditional roles or anything. It could just be even just bridging the gap between your religion and your spirituality, or abandoning one for the other. 3 of Wands. One more shuffle here. Thank you. 3 of Wands is clarified by 5 of Pentacles. The Emperor shows themselves again, and the 8 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we have the King of Wands. This is you really taking action on your own behalf and abandoning a world belief, some view, some ideology that you have that no longer serves you, because 8 of Pentacles, you've learned. You've learned that whatever that belief is, it's not really yours. And maybe once upon a time it was, but it's not yours now, and it's not yours moving forward. And so you're going to take action, King of Wands, on your own behalf to move forward. And this is new territory for you. This is a new frontier. This is a new way of living. Okay, let's get you some advice. Is there anything else that I'm being told to clarify? Let's get 3 more cards on this for you, Gemini, and then we'll get you advice, and we'll close it out with the Moonology card. Anything else Gemini needs to know about this? One more shuffle. Thank you. 9 of Wands, Temperance, and the Devil. There you go. Bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant. This is tradition. Whatever tradition is to you. And look, please don't watch this and think that I'm knocking religion or knocking gender roles or knocking your beliefs. I'm not. There's just a belief that you have that you grew up with, like I grew up with, that just no longer aligns to who we are today. And that's okay, because we change and the world changes. And because of our experiences, we see the world differently and we see our future differently. You know, it doesn't make your parents or your grandparents' beliefs here bad. It worked for them. You know, my dad being born in the 40s, my mom in the 50s, that's what they were raised. My mom stayed home and watched us. My dad worked 3 jobs to put food on the table for us and the 3 kids that he had with his first wife, with the arranged marriage. And that was their traditional role, even if it meant him having to work basically 2 full jobs and then on the weekend cut grass to make some extra money. I mean, he had a lot of mouths to feed. Plus, we had that traditional construct in our family where it's multi-generational. He was also responsible for taking care of his parents, because that's kind of how it was done in the old country. Like, they took care of you while you were young. Now you take care of them while you were old. So you look at one man there being responsible for 5 kids, a wife, an ex-wife, and 2 parents. Yeah, he had to work 2.5 jobs to do it. It was the only way to keep us all fed, plus himself. So, but that would not work these days. These days, the wife would go to work. The kids might grow up and go to work as well, as, you know, as they come of age. It wouldn't all be on the shoulders of one person. It doesn't make the way that your parents did marriage or relationships or paying the bills wrong. That's what worked for them. That was societal expectations of the 50s and 60s, and dare I even say part of the 70s. But we're now in 2026. And if my person thought I was going to work 2.5 jobs so he could stay home and feed the cat, this is not Little House on the Prairie. and neither would I expect that of him. And again, it doesn't mean that the people living in those times were bad or different, you know, or anything like that. It's just not aligned to who we are today. And so there's something here like that you can heal. This is kind of like a wound, because I think that you have always tried to measure up to an expectation here that wasn't yours to begin with. And so, like, you were beating your head on the wall, and I think it happened the last 2 to 3 years, trying to live within this box that everyone before you lived within. And yeah, it was comfortable for them, but doing the same thing over and over again, what you're realizing is not comfortable for you. So I can see the Gemini collective stepping a little bit out of whatever traditional worldview role they formerly existed in. You're changing that. Your territory has changed. And now you are changing as a result of it. Let's get 3 cards of advice here for Gemini. 3 cards of advice here for Gemini. One more shuffle. Thank you. And if you wanted to continue living like that, you could, but it would be very burdensome. Empress there at the bottom of the deck. It would be very burdensome. Your advice, Death card. Literally can't make it up. And I said that Tower card, Pluto, Scorpio, an ending for a new beginning. Temperance, Archangel Michael, and the King of Cups. Bottom of the deck, the Ace of Cups. Living in a way that we love. Not because we were raised to do that and we don't love it, but, you know, you got to eat your peas, but I hate peas. I'm 52 years old. I don't want to eat fucking peas anymore. You know, I want to eat, I don't know, broccoli, edamame, you know, glazed carrots with sesame seeds. They're my favorite baked. But anyway, not to make light of this, but your advice here is to heal this wound within you, to not demonize it, but just recognize that it's no longer yours. This would be a complete transformation for you, very healing for you to do this. And you're actually going to like yourself more, dare I even say love yourself more, because you're choosing to live now for you and not in that 4 of Pentacles the way you were raised. And again, it doesn't make it bad. It just means the times have changed. Life has changed you. And you have a right to honor who you have become by changing your worldview to one that more aligns with you. Close it out now with the Moonology card here, please, for the Gemini collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. One more shuffle here. Thank you. And I just got a message, so I have to share it. I'm not telling those of you who have grandparents or parents that are living in your home to pack up their shit and throw them in a nursing home. Funny, you're funny today. That's not what I'm saying. Maybe you still feel obligated to do that, okay? I'm certainly not telling you to do otherwise. But this would also be you changing your worldview and saying, I'm going to put different things in place so that when I get to that stage, I'm not becoming a burden for my children. So you may not, you know, totally be like, hey, grandma, pack your shit, going down the street. It might just be because your worldview changes, you'll put things in place now to make it easier on your kids for when you get to that stage. So it could be that as well. Moonology card here. Luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. If you are a Gemini sun, that is our opposite sign. And it is seeing things in a broader, more expansive way. And at the bottom of the deck, we have work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. Some of you may be afraid to make this shift and to communicate it. Remember, at the bottom of the deck, we had communicate. That was a little bit of a touch and go conversation I had with my dad the other day. And I'm glad that even though Mercury retrograde, and thankfully my dad's an Aquarius, so, and he got it. He got it because of his lived experience. And he was like, I raised a strong daughter. He's like, I raised 5 kids, but you're the strongest of all of them. And I'm the only girl. So by the end of the conversation, he understood what I meant. Dad, it doesn't mean that I want to go and sleep around with all these different men. It just means I may just want to live with him or just spend the rest of my life being with him. And it may be under the same roof. It may not be. And we may get married. We may not. And it was a very healing conversation that I had with my dad. But I had to work through my fears in order to have that conversation. Scorpio energy, by the way, new moon in Scorpio, death card. Because I didn't want it to come across to him like him having that belief made him a bad person. I didn't want to demonize him. I just wanted him to understand it didn't work for me and why it didn't work for me. So you're going to have to work through your fears on this, but no doubt you will be able to do it. And luck is on your side. Once you start living in your authentic truth, you're going to find the world open up for you in ways you could never dream. So that is what I have for you, Gemini. That is your full moon in Aquarius message. Big message there for the collective. But that is what I have for you. If you like that message, resonates with you, if you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video on your mobile device if you're able to do that. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.